Welcome to Operations Management. My name is Valerie Leonard and I'm your instructor. You'll find out more information about me and my intro in the Student Introductions Bulletin Board on the Blackboard system. We're going to go into a course intro and week 1 overview. The purpose of the course is to introduce critical topics in organizational effectiveness that are generally not found elsewhere in the C&M curriculum. And when I say C&M curriculum, I'm speaking about the Certificate in Nonprofit Management program. This is not a crash course in every facet of operations, nor could it be with just 5 weeks ahead of us. As you can see, we have a very full 5 weeks ahead of us. Week 1 will cover nonprofit operations management, what it is and who does it. Week 2, we'll be looking at managing human resources. Week 3, we'll look at managing information technology. And week 4, we'll explore managing organizational performance. Finally, week 5, we'll look at macro perspectives on nonprofit operations, what thought leaders are saying. Upon the successful completion of this course, that is the readings, exercises, and class discussions, you should be able to explain the typical scope of operations in a nonprofit organization and identify various ways that operations management can be staffed to match the size, budget, and operational needs of an organization. You should be able to recognize the fundamentals of human resource management and articulate key legal issues that nonprofits cannot afford to overlook. You should be able to explain what it means to align information technology to an organization's mission and utilize that understanding to guide IT decision making. Finally, you should be able to articulate critical perspectives regarding the traditional assumptions about how nonprofits operate across the sector today and discuss the implications of these ideas for today's organizations. The course is structured to facilitate collaborative learning and active participation. In fact, you'll see that a significant part of your grade is participation. The format is asynchronous, which means that there's no set time for everyone to be online at the same time for a given assignment, and communication is done through bulletin boards and emails. This format provides flexibility as to when and where you study and how you interact with the materials, your classmates, and instructor. However, there are specific due dates for weekly assignments. You're required to log on to the course a minimum of 5 times a week, but as the discussions and studio activities develop, you'll probably have to log on more often. Pretty much like when you have a really interesting Facebook page discussion. You should see the course calendar for an overview of assignment due dates. The course is comprised of 5 weekly modules. Each module moves through the 4-step sequence illustrated below. You'll start off with an introduction, which will give you an overview of the subject that we're going to be discussing for the week. After that, you'll go through the readings and the resources, and based on the information that you get from the readings and resources, you'll engage in discussions where you actually cite examples from the readings, cite examples from your own personal experiences, or you could be assigned a studio assignment, regardless of whether you're doing a discussion question or studio. You're encouraged to actively participate. During our first week, we'll explore what operations management means within the context of a nonprofit organization and identify the variety of ways that operations can be staffed. As a student, you'll review the introduction, and that's an overview of the weekly topic and how it fits into course themes and learning objectives. Next, you'll dive into readings and resources, and that's going to be your starting point for individual reflection and group discussion. Be sure to plan adequate time to review the readings and other resources, and when you make comments, make sure that you draw from the readings first and then your own personal experiences. Next, you want to engage in the discussion forum, and that's a 24/7 shared space for thoughtful discussion with your instructor and peers. Every week, you'll develop a discussion question or select one from the discussion question list and lead an engaging discussion. It's not enough to say, wow, that's great insight, so-and-so. We're looking for insightful comments that'll show that one, you've done the reading, two, that you've been able to apply the reading to your own experiences or experiences that other people share. And it's also good to ask probing questions. That helps to facilitate the discussion and keep it lively. And finally, we want you to develop new competencies with the studio activity. And this is an opportunity to work independently on your choice of studio options. After completing your studio exercise, you'll post it on a discussion board where your instructor, which is myself, and peers will share comments. At the end of week 1, assuming that you've completed all the readings and assigned activities, you should be able to explain the critical importance of operations management to achieving an organization's mission. You should be able to identify the scope of activities that constitute nonprofit operations and recognize similarities and differences between nonprofit operations and those for-profit entities. Finally, you should be able to explain the role and function of a Chief Operating Officer, or COO, and describe alternative ways in which operations management can be staffed to match an organization's structure and needs. Before you get started, I'm asking that you complete the pre-course assessment found in the week 1 folder. It only takes a few minutes. It's really important for you to get this done before the course starts because we need to do a baseline assessment for where you believe your knowledge to be. At the end of the course, we're going to give you the same assessment, and then we'll be able to measure the rate of growth. If you haven't already posted an introduction in the discussion board, now is the time. We strongly encourage PowerPoint files, but they're not required. Photos are especially helpful for getting to know one another, and you can be as creative as you like. Some people in the past have actually done videos. We have 4 readings and 1 additional resource. The first resource is this video, Course Intro and Week 1 Overview. The second resource is a reading, The COO, An Enigma to Many. That's by Mario Marino. The third resource is from the Bridge Span group, and that's Creating the COO Position. The next resource is also from the Bridge Span group, and that's the COO Roles and Structures, Stories from the Field. And finally, we have the Chief Operating Officer job descriptions, and that's also from the Bridge Span group. You will choose 1 discussion question and 1 studio assignment each week. Generally, responses to discussion questions, or as we call them, DQs, should be posted on Saturdays, and responses to studio assignments should be posted on Mondays. You should check the course syllabus for more details. Responses to discussion questions should be at least 2 paragraphs, and you should respond to your classmates' posts as often as possible, so long as the comments are meaningful. They should be like a woman's skirt, long enough to cover the subject, short enough to be interesting, and you should also avoid being redundant. Finally, you should respond to your classmates' studio assignment posts. Do it the Chicago way, early and often. If you have any questions, please post them in the Talk to Valerie forum. Questions of a personal nature may be emailed to me at valeriel@uic.edu or valeriefleonard@msn.com. You're strongly encouraged to maintain communications on the bulletin boards as opposed to email. This will optimize student interaction and learning. So in closing, I welcome you once more. I'm looking forward to very vigorous discussions and rich sharing of ideas and experiences. Take care. Bye-bye.